Baba Kashab, we could put it inside in the bin.
One of these crates?
No, the crate inside, the camp crate. Put it in there. Yeah, we was using it the other day. I don't know why he put it there.
Okay.
But-
Can we use it today? Cause
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. If it's here, you can use it. Most High and Christ. Shalom, Adawan. Lord of Christ.
Hey, small quick. It's like I'm running late. I'm trying to get there from Raleigh.
Okay.
What do you name? I haven't picked up. I gotta pick up the truth. What? You're not calling it Lashawan Qadash, right?
No, I'm calling. This is what I call it. Lashawan Qadash, Children's Edition. That's what I call it.
Okay, but is that what we're doing, or is it still gonna be open to questions?
It's going to be the regular class. I just got, just to keep it straight, I got 5 words in Hebrew on the board.
Okay, no sweat. I got you.
Simple.
Is about this I1 coming?
He said he was coming, yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start.
What do we have? Do we have a packed house?
No, we just got Quiet Bar and his family
Okay,
so far.
all right.
And I think they said the other sister, what's her name?
Deja.
Deja.
Yeah, she's picking up Shemana Bar, so that's why she's not there.
Yeah. So I'm going to go over a couple of scriptures, break down a couple of stuff before we get into it. And that's where we at now, okay?
All right.
All right, I see y'all when y'all get here, okay?
All right, Shalom, Christ.
Shalom, Lord in Christ. Shakatas Baba Kashar, you could get the mics. Get both of those mics out. Because we want everybody to participate, right? Yeah, both of them. Take both of them. I'm going to use this one. Sure. Why not? Let me give me a cup. Hold on a second. Yeah, I can use some of that.
so the young man Eric might be pulling up.
You want a cup? No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, shalom to Israel. Yahweh Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatham to all the brothers, which simply means, may God bless you in the name of Christ. Yahweh Shema Alathan Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai is the greetings for the sisters, which simply means, may the Most High watch over you in the name of Christ, right? Right? So we're the ISUPK. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. And since 1969, ISUPK has been teaching the truth of the Bible. And that truth includes the fact that so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and so-called First Nation or Native Indian people are the true Jews, the true Israelites, God's chosen people, the future rulers of the planet Earth, according to the Bible. Understand? The ISUPK is the home of the truth, meaning we're the origin of what they call the Hebrew Israelite doctrine. We're the origin of the truth. You understand? The home of the truth. We're not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group, sect, religion. The ISUPK stands alone on its own merit, and I thank the Most High for that. Understand? Because the Most High has allowed us to shine above all others because we've been consistent, you understand, and diligent in this work, right? So if you're not in ISUPK under command and General Yohana, you're not in the truth. Understand? This is the one body spoken of, that little sanctuary or that little safe place that is spoken of in the scriptures, right? Okay. With that being said, I'm Officer of 1,000 Yanazar here in beautiful Durham, North Carolina. And tonight we're going to be teaching the Lashawan Qadash, or the Hebrew language class, in the children's version, all right? Children's edition, making it a little bit more simple because we have younger people, you understand, in attendance, right? So for us, right, the most important thing for us to get into our young people is to have an identity, right? An identity that they could love, to love who they are and know who they are according to what God says, not according to what the oppressor says or any of the other nations that you might come across, right? But according to God, you're a very special people. You're the best people on the planet Earth. And we understand that, and the way the earth is right now, it doesn't look that way. It doesn't look like, we're able to see it, but on the surface, on face value, it doesn't appear that way because we're on the economic bottom. We're on the bottom. You understand? We're the accuser. We're the accused. We're accused of being criminals. We're accused of being this. We're accused of being that when it was not true. The reason why we're in the condition that we're in is because the Most High, upon choosing us, gave us the opportunity to be the head nations. Come on. Speaking to the mic.
We didn't obey the rules.
Yes, that's I couldn't even put it any better than that. Because let me read to you something. I'm gonna wait to get into the subject matter when more people come in. But I just want to, get y'all to understand certain things because we only meet like every other week. So sometimes we're going to be going over things and stuff like that to make sure that you're aware and know certain things, right? So here, I'm going to read to you where God offered us rulership over the earth, right? Meaning, and what that means is that if God offers us rulership and say, y'all going to be the main nation on the earth, then that means we're capable of being the main nation on the earth, right? So this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it says, and it shall come to pass, which means that it will happen, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, if you listen and obey God, to observe and do all his commandments, which, like the brother said, are the rules. The commandments are the rules. That's what the commandments are. They're the rules. To observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Meaning we would be the lead nation. We would be on top above all the nations. But then again, he turned around and told us in verse 15 in the same chapter, Deuteronomy 28 and 15, he says, but it shall come to pass if thou would not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses meaning punishments, shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And then from verse 16 to verse 68 is every condition that so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and so-called First Nation Native Indians found themselves in at various times in history, and most of them we're still dealing with. You understand? Even going into slavery on cargo slave ships, which is the way we came to this land. This is not our land. We came to this land on cargo slave ships, packed in slave ships for 2 months like sardines. And somehow we survived, right? So, but we're very special people because after this punishment is over, we get to rule the world. We get to rule. And we're getting at the end of the punishment, right? Meaning, okay, so if your dad say, okay, you're going to be on punishment for 2 weeks and you can't play the video games, right? When that 2 weeks is over, the punishment is over, right? Right. So we're in the punishment. We're at the end of the punishment. We're like, let's say 7 days. We got like 1 hour left. You understand? Of the punishment. We suffered all of the punishments, you understand? And we're suffering them now because we had to suffer them because God told us if we didn't obey him, we was going to suffer them. So we had to suffer them, and we did. And no other nation. You got a question? Yes. Come on.
Yes, sir. If I may, you said Deuteronomy 28
and 1. We started at 28 and 1.
Right.
Right.
And then you said all of the punishments that we're going through.
Okay, so 28 is when he offers us rulership, right? Then in 15, from let me break it down to you. From verse 2 to 14, all of the blessings, all of the good things that was going to happen to us are there from 2 to 14 if we had obeyed. But from 15 to 68 is all of the punishment or curses that we have gone through, that we have, suffered, right? Even coming here on ships. Okay, so the point is that we're, one of the scriptures says that, and I like to use this, and sometimes you're going to see me repeat things over and over, right, is that in verse 46 in the same chapter, Deuteronomy 28 and 46, it says, no, I'm going to do 45. It says, moreover, all these curses or punishments shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou art destroyed, because you hearkeneth not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee, meaning because you didn't listen. And they shall, in verse 46 says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign. Right? So when you go to McDonald's, you look for the McDonald's sign. Right? When you go to the gas station, you look for the sign that says gas. Right? So the sign of who the Israelites are the curses and the punishments that we're suffering, because no other nation is suffering them like we're suffering. That's the sign. That's how we know who we are. That's how we know, for sure. You understand? And of course, the Bible describes us in many ways. And as you come into this truth and as you grow older, right, all of you are being really young, you'll learn. When you read about the Bible, you know that it's talking about niggas. Slocky. Some of the, I hate to say it. No, I love to say it, really. Because when you learn about our people and learn how we are, you'll see that it's us. You know what I'm saying? And because, like, we have a righteous nature. Like, we have a tendency to do good. We're the most merciful. We're the kindest people in the world. But when we're taking off our square or taking off out of our nature and out of our culture, we could be the worst. We could be the worst. Let me give you an example. I hate to make the example, but this is a good example. Like, we all know what homosexuality is, right? Everybody knows what that is, right? Everybody, raise your hand if you don't know. If you don't know, raise your hand. Okay, so everybody, so that's something that God hates, right? Understand? So that is something that God hates, right? Because we all old enough, we don't got the little tiny kids in there yet. But we all are old enough in here right now to understand. And what I'm trying to show you is that in that wickedness, our people tries to outdo every other people. Like a man, like a Israelite man that may be a homosexual, he want to outdo all other nations. He want to be the best. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Because that's his nature, is to be the best. But he could be the best in wickedness as well. You understand? He could be the best in wickedness as well. Because I was watching a show the other night. It was called, well, my rib was watching it, and I just happened to tune in. And I watched it with her for like about 5 minutes because it was called Doll House. That's the name of it, Doll House. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching it, and my rib says, like, how many of them do you think are real women? And I'm looking, I say maybe, there's a bunch of them now. And I'm like, well, that's a man over there. And that one, the shoulders look kind of big. And that one had them big old sneakers on over there. And she turned around and looked at me, she said, every last one of them is a man. Every last one of them was men. And I couldn't tell the men from the women. And the first thing that came to my mind was, damn, how much money they spent to look like that. How much, like, they shave, like with the men, we have that little extra thing in our Adam apple. They shave it off. And you can see the little mark under their neck where they open their throat so they could sound like a woman. It was crazy. I was bugging. I was like, dang. Because I never watched stuff like that before. It's madness.
Salakia, sir. It's almost like this world hates the Most High.
Yeah, it does. Because that's it. That's the bottom line. Because what that means is like people just want to do what they want to do, and they think they know better than the Most High. This is good. I don't care what the Most High say. This is what I want to be. And in reality, what is happening to the people is that they're being deceived. You understand? That's why we use the word devil, because the word devil simply means to deceive or to be a deceiver. You understand? So the world is being deceived, right? Well, we're a special people. And, this class right here is to instill that truth and that feeling into our young people so that when they grow up, they'll have it. Because in the book of Proverbs 22:6, it says, train up a child in the way he should go, and he won't leave it. You understand? If you're trained as a child the right way, it's going to carry you for the rest of your life. Go ahead, bro.
Salakia, if I may, what you bringing out is so heavy. Like, we are so special, but they whitewash everything. Like, they don't tell us all the inventions and everything that we made. You know what I'm saying? From the internet, from the air conditioner, from the traffic light, anything that shows us that our people are great, they whitewash it. Yep. They steal it from us, and they put their name on it. Just Absolutely. Like you brought out that time about the buffalo wings. Didn't know that was a black man that created that.
When you research it, the first thing you're going to see is the white woman who, made the franchise. You have to dig deeper to see that she got the recipe from a brother. But it was a white woman. Like, the brother was just doing it, like selling it in the hood. Like, yo, Bill got some hot wings down there on the joint. But she saw it, and she stole it. She took the recipe and made the franchise hot wings.
Right.
But it was invented by a black man.
Salakia. So like what I'm saying is that we are naturally gifted. You know, these gifts and that the Most High bestowed on us, the oppressor suppresses this. You know what I'm saying? They
Absolutely.
they cover it up. They never gonna let you know that you great. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely. They want you
when
to
you
think
go to
that you're less
school,
than.
that curriculum is to definitely dumb you down. You know, they're not gonna tell you that, you know, you could you excel over them in everything, in sports, in you know, any kind of books or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So we are definitely a holy people, set apart. You know?
That's right. Absolutely. So I'm going to read you a scripture. You know, in Deuteronomy 7:6, it tells us that we're the greatest people on earth, above all the nations that are upon the earth. And now you brought up inventions, right? So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 16, right? So to prove the point that you're making, because every kind of similitude or every subject matter that you can talk about is in here. I don't care what it is. So you're talking about inventing things, right? And being a great inventor, our people, right? So let's see it in the Bible, because you are absolutely telling the truth. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter, oh Lord, I done lost it, 10. And you're going to like this, because this is part of this scripture that's a familiar phrase today. Anybody got it?
Chapter 10.
10 and 16. I got it. You want to read it?
I'll read it.
Baba Shah.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 16. The portion of Jacob is not like them.
So the part that is us is not like them, the other nation. You understand? Oh, it's water, bro. You know I do that. The portion of Jacob is not like them. We're not like them, the other nations. Read on.
For he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name.
Right. So there where it says the Lord, it would have the word in the Hebrew would be Yahweh. Of course, that's the name of God. And the thing is, the former of all things means he forms everything. He invents everything. That's what the word former, like if you form something, understand, that's inventing something. You understand? Jacob, we not like them. And everything that we're allowed to participate in, we excel in. You understand? Like the general brought out the other night about the pilot who had, the white pilot who tried to murder the whole airplane. Right. And Charlie Kirk was afraid if he saw a black pilot, he was afraid that the black pilot wasn't qualified, that he got the job through, what do you call it, DEI? You understand? Affirmative action. But in reality, according to the record, the black pilots are the best pilots, period. In World War II, the black escort unit called, I'm trying to think of their name. They were part of the Tuskegee Airmen, right? It was an all-black unit because they were not integrated. Their mission was when they would go on bombing raids, they would bomb the enemy, the Germans or whoever. And their job was to escort the bombers to make sure they never lost one plane. Meaning, like, we all going to throw some bombs on somebody, right? Me and Choir Bar, we the bombers. Y'all the escorts. And over 100 missions, they never lost one bomber. Meaning they protected those planes so well that nobody could break their record. You can't do any better than that. It's impossible. I mean, 100%. Can't do better. So for out of hate, Charlie Kirk would try to make it seem like black pilots got their job through affirmative action, but in reality, according to the record, No black pilot ever crashed a plane. Yeah, exactly what they do. They want you to think that you're less than.
Right.
You understand? So we're here to prevent that because we're not less than anybody.
Salakia, sir. That's because they're afraid. They're afraid once you learn about who you truly are. You know what I'm saying? They would just be in ruin. You know what I mean?
The Most High chose us, right? So, like, they don't understand the Most High. Like, because the Most High, he only chooses the best. That's the whole point. Like, if we was the worst people in the world, would God choose us? No. We have special gifts that nobody else got. Do you know, you ever heard of the Space Hubble telescope? Well, it's this big telescope that's getting all those pictures of those universes, and it's a black woman that solved the mathematical equation for that Space Hubble telescope. And a black man had the formula for the lens. Also, you ever watch Hidden Colors? Hidden Figures. These were black women who didn't even had to go to another building to use the bathroom, figured out the mathematical formula which allowed the trajectory for them to go to the moon. They made a movie out of it, what, 50 years, 60 years later after it happened? Nobody knew about this. We didn't know. I grew up during that time. I didn't know nothing about it until the movie came out. You understand? And I think only one of the sisters was still alive when the movie came out. But with that, they had computers. The computers were so big, like the computer took up like a whole room. One. This was the first and the sisters worked out the mathematical problem before the computer could. Understand? So we have special abilities.
Salakia, if I may. I don't mean to put nobody in here on the spot, but all y'all in school, right? All y'all in school. And I just want to know if you ever learned anything that black people invented. I don't believe that the school teaches you anything that we done.
Yeah, I would like to hear that myself, really, seriously.
Salakia.
On the mic. Don't be shy.
We invented. I'm trying to remember my project. It was on the man. He had, I forgot his name, but he had invented like something to like green up oats or something. So he invented that.
I know it's Booker T. Washington. He invented like agricultural.
Okay, but anything past those years, a long time ago.
I know this lady invented like the rolling pin. I think.
The what?
It was something I forgot.
Okay, it's
my
okay, but
project was a long time
what
ago.
I want you to do, right? You still got those notes? No, you don't have to. If you could find it now, that's cool. But the point that is being made is that they not telling you, or like they don't tell you, right? Like there was an old saying called the real McCoy, right? The real McCoy was a black man who had made inventions that people try to emulate, right? They try to make imitation versions of his invention, and they couldn't. And so people would say, is this the real McCoy? Meaning, what is this the authentic, real version of this particular invention? It was something pertaining to trains back in the 1800s. You know, it's air conditioning in the car was invented by black people. You know, at one time, 40% of the patents, and what a patent is when you invent something, you go to the patent office and you make a request for a patent, meaning that you have the rights to it. 40% of the patents in America belong to black people at one time, meaning 40% of the inventions. And most of the things that we invented was stolen and given credit to other people, other nations, particularly white people. Like the light bulb, right? You know them old light bulbs. I don't even know if they still got them. The glass, they call it Con Edison. They give Edison the credit. But the filament, the little metal, inside, there's the wiring and then there's a filament. That was invented by a black man. That gives off the actual light. But once he did that, they created what they call the bulb or the outer casing, right? And the white man got credit for it. They got a movie about it where they actually, show open heart surgery, plasma. You understand? Open heart surgery. I had.
It was a black man.
Yeah, who did the first open heart surgery?
First open heart surgery. They don't tell you that.
Where do they have all the plasma banks?
Yeah, but the plasma is a part of the blood that allows you to transmit blood, to transfer blood. Yeah.
You missed it.
Where do they have?
I don't know, sis.
You mentioned plasma. So
Yeah.
plasma, they have banks where people can go and donate their plasma. Where are them banks like where are they located?
I don't know. I don't.
All of those banks are located in the black neighborhoods. They in the black neighborhoods like churches.
Because they want your blood, because you got the best blood.
Right. And this
That
is-
makes perfect sense. See,
right.
I didn't know that.
And
But that makes perfect
and you know
sense.
what's so crazy is that we watch movies, right? And it's like a science fiction in a way, but in a way they telling a real story because you got vampires, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they need blood to live. Salaki.
I know where you're going, and you're right. Come on.
Forgive me, but they need blood to live, and it's not coincident or accident that all these blood banks and plasma banks are in our neighborhoods, because they are
Yeah.
they just dwindling away. You know what I'm saying?
Like the city, Salakia. They have liquor stores on almost every corner.
When Jacob and Esau were men, right? And it became apparent that Jacob was better than Esau, Esau said, when my father dies, I'm going to kill Jacob. You understand? And they've been trying to kill us ever since. Right. That's what it is. You understand? They don't want us to have no credit because if the world was to know who we were, then the whole order of the world would have to change. Those people that's over there in Israel right now, pretending to be us, pretending to be Jews, they would have to give up the land and their claims.
Salakia, what you bringing out is so heavy, and I feel the same way. That's how people feel about the Most High. Like if you had to believe in the Most High, that mean that you had to change. That mean that you was forced to change. So a lot of people were they would act like he don't exist, like the Most High doesn't exist, and they continue on in the foolishness. They selfish. They want to continue on and practice vain traditions and things that don't even matter to the Most High, right? So they would say like, well, I don't know if God is real or whatever, So, if you did believe in him, if you did think that he was real, that means you have to do what he say. So I look at it as people are making excuses.
Well, see, this is the thing. This is the thing that we have to understand too, as well, because like the knowledge of God, right, was on the true knowledge of God was only given to us. The other nations, you understand, they made up their own gods according to what they thought God should be. You understand? The other nations, they never received this information. You understand? When the other nations got this information, they stole it from us. These are our records. So when they created gods according to their myth. Right. A lot of the gods of the other nations were actually people. Like, what's the guy named Baal, right? Baal was a man who had invented a lot of agricultural inventions. Like he was good at agriculture. Right. But over a period of time, he became a god. He became worshipped. You understand? That's how they did it. And the Egyptians did the same. Like a lot of these gods, like the Roman gods and the Greek gods, are actually from Egypt. Come on. They just changed the name.
In school, I learned that a black man made the first clock.
That's true. And matter of fact, his name was Benjamin Banneker. He's the same guy that when they had a white guy who was designing, when they decided to build Washington, D.C., and the white guy died before he could finish his plans. And they hired Benjamin Banneker because he was like a guy that was good at everything. And he invented a clock. And you know what he made it out of? Did they tell you? He made it out of wood. He made it out of wood. And it functioned. He made it out of wood. That's how good he was. And he also designed Washington, D.C. as well. The same guy, Benjamin Banneker. He didn't need no batteries. It worked by wood. And it worked. I think it worked for like 5 years or something like that. No electricity, no nothing. So yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. So they are teaching you a little something. So everything that they teach you about your people, you should hold on to.
I have a question. So these are my children, right? You know, when they go to school, and I'm quite sure other nations are in those schools, but I'm quite sure they might be standing right next to their brother, and they don't know that that's their brother just because they don't look like them.
No. Break that down for me a little more.
Meaning that, you know, we know that it's 12 tribes, right?
Yeah.
And
I got what you're saying.
you know, so we all look like something, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We all look different, you know what I'm saying? According to our parents or whatever genetically, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, my son, you know, if you look at him, he's a little lighter, but you know, as far as Hispanic brothers and sisters or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They might see a difference that he's a Judite, but
and they might not either.
Salakia?
They might not either. You know what I'm saying? Captain Zarek said a lot of times Dominicans walked up to him and started talking to him in Spanish.
Right. So it depends on the region and everything of your parents or what they used to seeing, right?
What it depends on, according to our laws, we don't go by color. Okay. We go by the seed of your father. You see what I'm saying?
Who's your father?
Who's your father? If your father's an Israelite, you're an Israelite. That's it. Yeah. If your father's an Israelite, you're an Israelite. That's what, like when we came out of Egypt, right? The Most High told all of the families to give their pedigree according to the house of your father, meaning prove who you are according to the lineage of your father, right? That's why we could say Christ descended from King David because he's from the lineage of King David. He's from the lineage of King David. We don't go by color because color, okay, look at Nicki Minaj, right? You got Nicki Minaj, and let me see, and then you got, what's the basketball player name? Stephon Curry? No. He used to dunk real good. He retired, but he looked like a white man.
Not Jason Kidd. Doug Christie?
No. I'm trying to get him. I'm gonna get another one. Well, Nicki Minaj, if you look at her, right, she looks like one of us, right? But she's not an Israelite. No. Her father's a heathen or a other nation. Her father is, I think, from India or somewhere, Pakistan or somewhere like that. So she's not an Israelite. Cardi B is an Israelite. But Nicki Minaj is not. It was somebody else, man. There's this guy, Hartenstein.
And Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, he's a
Farrakhan.
yeah, they Edomites. Farrakhan is an Edomite. I got it. Hold on. There's a guy on the he used to be on the Knicks, but he's on the what is it, Oklahoma City Thunder. His name is Hartenstein. He looks like a straight up white boy. He is Israelite. Because his father's an Israelite. Yeah, I'm sitting outside like a star. Come on, man. I'm gonna pull up a picture of him if I could.
Salakia, sir. The point I was trying to make is that, you know, we could be in school, or we could be working right next to our brother or sister, you know, being that, you know, it's 12 tribes, and you know, we come from different backgrounds or whatever, like Issacharite, you know, like Mexicans, or, you know, Dominicans or Haitian, or whatever, you know, we the same. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the point that I'm making is that we might think that we different, but we really the same. But we need to distinguish.
Who is this? That's Isaiah Hartenstein. He looked like a white man. No, his father is an Israelite. His father's a black man. And I didn't know that. See that? He looked like a white man. He looked like a white man. But he's not. So we don't go by color. That's the point. We don't go by color. Because you can look like him. I knew for sure with the name Hartenstein and the way he looked, I knew for sure that was a white man. But he's not. His father's black.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know either, but he's an Israelite. So we don't go by color.
And he ain't one of the ones that just, you know, like the $5 Indian.
Yeah, he's a real Israelite according to his father, because his father's a black man, which shocked me. Because looking at him, you know, he kind of got like a physique like a black man. He do, but he looked like a white man. He looks like a Edomite, but he's not. So we don't go by color, right? We go by the house of our father and what God has given us, right? So we're special, right? Right? We're special. We're different, right? From the other nations. We're different. So now we got, okay, I was trying to hold off. So what we want to do now, right? If anybody got any questions, just raise your hand and we go into it. You got a question? Come on, little man. Give him the mic.
I heard that we didn't celebrate Christmas.
And you heard correct. Give him a hand. We don't celebrate Christmas because Christmas is a false holiday. It's a game that they play. So what we want to get to do now, right? Hold tight, little man. You can ask your question. You got another question? Come on, give him the mic again.
I heard that I've been making a gingerbread house. Then I had to get a ruler and a folder, but it broke.
Oh, okay. And we thank you for that information there, young fella. Thank you very much. What I want to do, right, is just we want to get to know our students a little better. So the question I want everybody to answer is, how do you see yourself? What do you see yourself doing as an adult? That's the question. Have you thought about it? Oh, you don't know what that means? That's right. Okay, that's good. Okay, so when you, okay, that's a good question. See, that,
In the next 5 years.
no. You asked me what an adult is, right? So now I'm going to explain to you what an adult is, right? An adult is when you're on your own. When you're grown and you can take care of yourself, your self-responsibility, your self-sustaining, you take care of yourself. When you're in a position where maybe you paying your own rent, you understand? A functioning adult. You understand now? A functioning adult. Because when we're young adults, right, we're trying to be or become whatever it is that we want to become, more than likely, right? Right? But as a functioning adult, right? Just think about it. You know, and it's like whatever you want to say. Like I just trying to get a little glimpse into everybody, all the young people in here. Right? What do you see yourself doing as an adult? What kind of career, job that might make it a little simpler? Because we're still in captivity. And of course, you're thinking, well, I'm going to be a priest and prophet, right? But we ain't got no check. We don't get a check for this. You understand? We got to eat. You understand? We got to eat. And your parents are not going to take care of you for the rest of your life. I know I told my kids that when they was little. You know what I mean?
See myself starting a business.
You start a business?
I see myself starting a business.
That's good. We need that. You understand? So now you see yourself starting a business. So now what do you do?
I think about multiple businesses like pressure washing, truck driving.
All right, thank you for that. Hold on just a second. Hold your thought. I hope it's off. Who goes there? Who goes there? I saw some little hand. It's a lot. All right, come on, come.
Where you want to put the chair at? Where you want to put the chair at? Over there, next to station.
You don't want nothing to drink? You want something to drink? What color you want? Okay. So we speaking to Shakataza, and he was saying that he saw himself starting his own business, right? Which is an excellent idea, you know. So don't deviate from that, pursue that, right? But what you got to do is you got to find out how to do it. You got to educate yourself, find out what you like. Find out what you like, right? And then you pursue it. You pursue it. You understand? You make it happen. You understand? And you have to learn how to make it happen before you can make it happen. You understand? You got business schools, all kind of avenues. You understand what I'm saying? Because I tell any young person, if you got an idea in your mind, you understand, you should follow it. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager anyway, I wanted to be an architect. That's what I wanted to be. But the schools that I was going to, I was living in the Bronx at the time. It's architect is like how to, it was a lot of mathematics, arcs, geometry, all kind of stuff like that. But the point that I'm making is that when I got to junior high school, when I was in junior high school, it was from 7th grade to 9th grade was junior high school. Y'all call it middle school now, which now is from 8th to 10th grade, right? Is how middle school go now? From 6 to 8?
No, yeah, 6 to 8.
And then 9 to 12 is high school, right? That's how it is. Well, when I was in school, 7 to 9 was what we call junior high school or middle school. When I got to the 9th grade, they would call you in, and they would ask you what you was aspiring to be. And I told them architect, but they discouraged me from that. Like they didn't help me or point me, like the guidance counselor, that was his name. Yeah, so they didn't say, that's a great idea, young man. Yeah, you can hear some opportunities here. We got a school out in Queens. No. They said, well, and I'm young and dumb. Well, realistically, that might be a little difficult for you, but we do have some trade schools. And this is actually a true story. This actually happened to me. So what I did was I wound up going to a school called Manhattan Vocational and Technical High School, and they really jerked me around in that school. They put me in like 3 different trades in 3 years, and I really never learned any damn thing. But that was because they don't want you to succeed. That's the point of the story that I'm telling you. They'll divert you from succeeding because they know that you're great. You understand what I'm saying? So what we have to do for our young people is to instill in them the confidence and for them to stick to it. Stick to it. Because there's nobody out there better than you. Nobody. There's nobody out there better than you. Nobody is better than you. There's people out there that have more opportunities. That it appears that they have more opportunities than us because that's the way that things are. That's the way this nation is built. This kingdom called America is built to keep us on the bottom. You understand? So, but we have the ability to rise. And so when we was in slavery, they ended physical slavery in 1865, right? And 2 generations later, about 80 years later, we were building cities. We built our own schools. We built our own everything. We had a hockey league. We had a football league. We had a baseball league. You understand? That was all black. So when we went to the stadium, and they had these little rinky-dink stadiums that we built because we didn't have a lot of money, but everybody that worked in the stadium was black. So we had our own jobs. The people that brought the food to the stadium was black. the people that made the food was black. The baseball players were black. The fans were black. And we started to prosper. Understand? It's a movie. It's a good movie. It's called Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars. It got Richard Pryor. It's an old movie made in the 70s, but it's about the Negro Leagues and how the Negro Leagues was prospering and they destroyed it. Okay? Okay, so I don't want to get too far off the point, but brother, if you got a dream or ideal for yourself, then you can make it happen. That's all I'm saying. You can make it happen. Anybody else? How about you, sis?
I wanna be. Talking in it.
Get it a little closer. Put it a little closer to your face.
I wanna be in the medical field. Go to school, study biology, and etc.
That's excellent. We could use some biologists. And we can use like see you see that, see, like, you see what you just said? What you just said, you should pursue it. Because there's a reason, like when he says he want to start his own business, right? There's a reason why he said that. It's something in him that said that. So it's something about biology, which is something that I love, biology. And biology is a very important field in the care of a nation. Like a biologist can play a very important role in a community. You understand? So don't, pursue it. Like, don't let nobody, what I'm trying to tell you is don't let nobody, convince you not to pursue it. Nobody. Don't let, like, if you want to be a biologist, then why the hell you can't be a biologist? Can you tell me why you can't be a biologist? Because there's no reason why you can't be that. There's no reason whatsoever. You have the ability. You just have to pursue it. Come on, man. He's itching there.
Well,
What you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a construction worker.
Okay, that's good. You want to build
'cause
things, right?
I don't want to be broke all my life. I want to, make some money.
Exactly, right. But a construction worker is construction workers make money, make good money. You understand? How about you, man? I know you. What you got?
I want to start my own business.
Yeah, so y'all two work together.
I want to open my own shooting range and build guns.
We need that. Because, like, we got one, it's up in North Raleigh and Durham. I mean, in Raleigh, North Carolina. I don't know if it's black owned. It's called Eagle. It's called, yeah. We used to go to the range. It is black owned.
Oh.
Right. It is. Okay. So I know everybody in there. When I went up there, everybody's black, but I didn't know who the owner was. So your mom said that it's black. Oh, we can use that because all of these black people that's going to the gun range, they putting money in the white man pocket. Why you can't get that money? Man, let me tell y'all something, man. All of y'all got good ideas. You can make it happen. You got to stick to your grind, you understand, and take it step by step. Because if I live long enough and you have a gun range, I'm coming there. I'm coming there. That's it. Understanding, like, one thing about black people that I know, right? Like, it seems like we are kind of destroyed in a way, but we do have a love for our people. You understand what I'm saying? We do have a love for our people, you understand? And they want us to believe that we don't love our people. They want us to believe, like, statistically, they want us to believe that black fathers are the worst fathers, but statistically, black fathers are the best fathers on the planet Earth. They have more interaction with their children. You understand? Even under diverse or terrible conditions in our communities. You understand? So whatever it is that you want to pursue, man, you can do it, man. start getting your licensing and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? You start, maybe you want to get a job in a gun range and learn the ins and outs. You understand what I'm saying? While you learn how you can get it, because you're going to have to rent your own spot. You're going to have to somebody come in there, and fix the, what do you call them? Like the lanes. You got to do all of that. Right. And then you have to be well-trained in weaponry. Well-trained. So you have to start getting, your training as soon as you're old enough to get the training. Yeah, I think down here you can get you ain't gonna be no 21. You can start now. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can go out into the woods and train on your weapon, because that's the most important thing. You got to learn about weapons. We got a brother, a young brother here, Nadiyam, Officer Nadiyam. Yeah, John Wick. And you know what I'm saying, he's a brother that's already very well trained with weaponry and knowledgeable about weaponry. So that's a link for you moving forward, right? You understand? That's a link for you. You know what I'm saying? And like maybe in the future, y'all could be helpful to one another in that direction. You understand? Because he knows a lot about weapons. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever you want to be, right, as long as it's something, if you do something, make sure that it's beneficial to your people. You understand? Make sure that it's something that your people could use. We sure can use our own gun range. We can sure use our own business, and we sure can use a biologist in our community. Because you find out in biology, there's a lot of black women in biology, a lot. If you look it up, doing a lot of great things too. So that's important. Just listen. This society doesn't want you to excel. I'm just telling you now. Like this society doesn't want you to be any. Do you know what they want you to be? They want you to work at McDonald's. They want you to work for them. That's what they want.
Or they want you to be in jail because it's cheap labor.
Yep.
It's like
and
slavery.
They make money off of jail. Like they actually, you can take money right now and go invest in a prison and make money off it, which is something I would never do. I don't care how much money they make. I would never invest in no prison. That is evil as hell.
Salakia. So they got prisons that are privately owned. They're not owned by the government. They're not owned by the federal. The agency. America is owned by private owners. Yeah. Like if I wanted to build a facility, I could build a facility to house criminals, and the government will pay me.
Exactly. Let me tell you,
$60,000, something like that, a person to keep you in jail. So the goal is to get as many people in jail. So that's why a lot of charges on our people are trumped up. They random charges. So the bottom line is like, stay out the way. Come in here. Pick,
find a better way. I'm gonna give y'all a story as to what he's talking about. I was watching a documentary, right? They built this new prison in Ohio, right? But they couldn't fill it up. They couldn't make the prison profitable. They couldn't get enough inmates in this new prison. This was a privately owned prison. You know what they did? They made a deal with Maryland, and they was taking prisoners from Maryland, and they sent them to Ohio to fill up that prison so that they could make money.
I wonder who owned Alligator Alcatraz. I wonder who project that is.
It would be good to know that too, because they're gonna make sure they make some money off of that. But the thing about that one though is like when they make these prisons, they also make jobs. I mean, they have to produce some kind of
industry.
Right.
Some kind of blue collar something. License plate. Back in the day, it was license plates. They doing something. If they have them in the field, You know, they might be in the tobacco field. They could be doing anything, but the bottom line is that it's slavery.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because I think
It's
some of them they make like 50 cents a day, $1.50 a day.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And it's some. I'm not sure because I've heard some of these stories, so I can't point out specifics. But there's some very prominent products on the market right now that are made in prison, and they making good money off it. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Matter of fact, I'm gonna Google it and try to find out something. But anyway, Malak, when you grow up, man, what you want to be, man? What you want to do when you grow up?
A police.
You want to be police?
Mhm.
You're going to be the Israelite police, right?
I want to be Israelite police too.
You want to be Israelite police too? Okay. Now, that's the only police that you can be, you know, right?
Right.
The Israelite police, right? You take care of your people and serve your community, right?
Yeah.
That's what you mean, right?
I want to be a firefighter too.
Yeah, that's good. We need those. We need firefighters. You're going to have all the jobs, man. Hey, man, hey, could you do me a favor? Could you leave me a job?
Yeah.
You want all the jobs, man. You can't leave me a job. Shoot.
Salakia. Salaki.
I'll have the ambulance. He said I could have the ambulance. Okay. That's fair. That's fair enough.
Just be like a construction worker or a head chopper if you want.
A what? A hedge?
Chop. Yeah, I got too many quilts. His name's Sonic.
Oh, a hedgehog. Okay. That'll be a hell of a job, wouldn't it? Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Okay, so how about you, little sis?
Yeah.
What would you like to do when you grow up? You ever thought about it? You never thought about it? You know, one day you're not going to be a child. You're going to be a grown woman one day. You know that, right? Right? You know that, right? We all grow up. You know, even Yanazar, I was a little child myself at one time, believe it or not.
And what you
You
wanted to
understand?
be. Salakia.
Yeah,
And what you wanted to be.
I wanted to be an architect. That's what I wanted to be.
I want to be a history teacher.
That's good.
Clap it up.
So you can teach everybody their history, right?
Very important job.
Excellent, excellent, man. That's excellent. See?
That's what you wanted to do too.
Do you like to read? Because if you want to teach history, you got to learn, you got to read a lot, right? So this is our history right here. This is the history of our people.
Salakia.
You understand? Come on.
The school don't teach you the real history. They give you something else to teach.
Yeah.
They give
Yeah,
the
George
the
Washington
teachers
chopped
something
down a
else.
cherry tree. I know. You know, I don't know if they teach that anymore. When I was a kid, they used to teach us that George Washington never told a lie, and he chopped down his cherry tree, and they asked him who chopped down the cherry tree, and he told the truth. It was some old nonsense they taught us when it was crazy.
It was brainwashing you.
Yeah,
Salakia.
that's what they were
They
doing.
wanted you to believe them no matter what.
George
Wanted you to
Washington
trust their
was a
word.
slave master. We
Yeah.
come to find out. It wasn't nothing honorable about him. He was a slave master, and he even had raped or had sex with underage slave women, and even had children by a few of them. One is Sally, whatever her name is, Sally something. He had several children with her, and she was his slave. But they made him sound like, I don't know what they teach you about George Washington now, because I don't even know if they teach George Washington anymore. But he was an evil bastard. Oh, excuse my language. He was a bad man. He was a bad man. Okay. So now we're going to just ask a few questions. I want everybody to give me an answer, right? And then if we have time, we're going to go over our little words there. Those are some Hebrew words, very simple words that we might be able to, some of them we might be able to remember. And one word up there is one of my favorite words in Hebrew, right? And that word, you see that word up there? It says tawab, right? You see this? See this right here? Tawab. I love that word. It just sounds so cool to me. Tawab. It means good. Anya tawab. That means I'm good. I'm good. Tawab. Tawab means good. And I love that word. Anyway, I'm gonna ask you a few questions.
What language is this?
That's Hebrew. Now Hebrew is our language, right? And the Bible, right, was revealed in that language, right? The Bible was when the Most High revealed the Bible. When the Most High revealed the Bible, He revealed it in the Hebrew tongue. You understand? So the earliest writing, the original writings of the Bible, the Old Testament, anyway, was in Hebrew, which is our native tongue. Right? So we learned a little bit about it. And so what I'm going to do from time to time is give you a few little words that you might become familiarized with. And then you might be able to learn slowly how to pronounce certain words. Because Hebrew is a different language. It almost became extinct. But God says in the Bible and in, Zephaniah 3:9, that He was going to return us to our language. To our language, our own language. You see how all these other nations, they have Chinese people, they got Chinese, right? Japanese people got Japanese. German people got German. Russian people got Russian. But we had a language too, older than all of their language. And that language is Hebrew. What we call Hebrew. And the Hebrew is called Lashawan. You see that word at the top of the board, Lashawan Qadash? That's Hebrew. And this is this word, Lashawan Qadash in Hebrew. Lashawan Qadash, right? So as you continue to come to class, you'll learn more and more. We're just trying to get to know each other a little bit better and learn the basic things we need to know about ourselves and our nation to make us prepared so that we can be better. Oh, Salakia. The water says. Yeah, Iraq is talking about the movie Being Along in the Traveling All-Stars. It was about the Negro Leagues. Okay, so it's a question. I don't see the question. Okay, Sister Nashama, Sir Concert we are very destroyed. It's sad but true. Concert, we're great at everything. I don't see it. Hold on, let me go back up a little bit. Okay, I see it. Okay, if I may ask, when blood banks were mentioned, is it a sin to receive blood transfusion or receive blood? As far as I know, I've never seen any law against it. You understand? Because it has saved lives. I've seen no law against blood transfusion. There's no law against it. I remember some years ago, there was a situation where it was Jehovah's Witness, and this Jehovah's Witness needed a blood transfusion to live, and they refused it. They refused the blood transfusion because they thought that the blood transfusion was against God. You understand? So they refused. I never forget this, and died. You understand? The Most High wants us to be practical. The Most High talks about the value of the physician in the Bible. You understand? Consult the so I say to you in a surety that there's no law against blood transfusion. There's no law against it. So if there's no law against it, that means it's lawful.
So as far as blood transfusion,
Pass her the mic.
the water for the blood transfusion part, but how about donating? Donating your blood. I mean, a blood transfusion, yeah, if you know you need it, but as far as donating your, you know.
Well, I would say this. If there's no law, how is a person going to get blood if somebody doesn't donate blood? Right. So I would say that would not be unlawful either. Like, we have the laws, right? If there's no law against it, like blonde hair, right? I hate blonde hair. I do. But there's no law against it. There's no law putting on a wig. There's no law against makeup. There's no law against it. You understand? So it's lawful. You understand? So if there's no law against it, then it usually, if there's no law against it, it usually has some benefit or some good.
The water.
Okay. You got a question? Come on, little man. Give me a question.
Well, I had to know we don't celebrate Christmas. We don't celebrate any Valentine's Day and Father's Day and Mother's Day and Thanksgiving.
Okay. So you want to know why we don't celebrate those?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. That's an excellent question. Okay, so the reason why we don't celebrate them is because that's part of the reason, but the Most High God gave us days to celebrate. And we're commanded to celebrate those days, right? And none others. So if the Most High doesn't authorize a day to celebrate, then we don't celebrate it. Like Sunday, coming up Sunday, we're going to celebrate the feast of Hanukkah, right? That's our holiday. You understand? Right? And if you come, you'll learn about that holiday, okay? All right. Good question. What we got, Malak? You got something?
We don't celebrate Easter. We don't celebrate Halloween.
Yeah. Halloween. Okay, Halloween was a holiday that was created. It's really wicked in its nature, right? Because it was like what they would do on Halloween was they would call up their dead ancestors or some kind of nonsense they would do, which is the origin of Halloween. They would try to bring out ghosts and stuff like that. Like that was, and then on that day they would put on costumes and you could do whatever you want. They used to call it All Hallows Day. Understand? And then on that day you could do whatever you want. You could rape a woman. You could beat up your enemy. You get one day. Like, what was that movie they made? The Purge. It was like that. That's where Halloween comes from. It was a day like that.
Yeah, because it's Adam's birthday.
Yeah. It's a wicked day. It's evil. You understand? There's no such thing as ghosts.
Yeah, because we're not scared of anything.
That's right. We ain't scared of nothing. That's right. I ain't scared of no ghosts. Okay, where we at? Okay, so we're gonna go to 7:30. Quick question. What's the name of the Most High God? I'm gonna ask y'all this until everybody knows it for sure.
Yahweh.
There it is. Give me a hand. That is right. Right. Now, what is the name of our nation, our people? That's the name of the Most High God. What's the name of us? We have a name as a nation. Okay. Come on, you. Come on. There we go. That's our
Israel?
name. Israel is our name. It's the name of our nation. The name Israel comes from a man, you understand, who God named Israel. God gave him that name. In English, it's Israel. And we're just going to leave it like that for now. Right? I'm not going to talk about the Hebrew translation, nothing like that, but Israel is sufficient. Israel is our name. Now, I already gave an answer to this one. Who gave us that name? Me. Really? You good, man. So, who gave us the name Israel? Who gave it? You know, where did that name come from? Hold on, you get it. Both of you can get a chance. Don't worry. Don't worry.
The Most High.
Say again.
The Most High.
The Most High. That's right. The Most High gave us this name. I'm going to read it to you right now, right? Because see, like when we teach your stuff, like when we teach you things, we want you to know that this is from God's word itself. Like Yanazar or nobody else you see standing up here as a teacher is making up anything at all. So this is the book of Genesis, chapter. I'm gonna do this one. He was given a name in two places. But I'm gonna do this. Genesis 35:10. It says, his name was Jacob, right? And then he was good. He did something really good, so God changed his name. So he says, and God said unto him, thy name is Jacob. Then he said to him, thy name shall not be called Jacob anymore, Jacob, meaning your name ain't Jacob anymore, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. So that's proof that God gave us that name. So now we're going to read what the name means, right? Y'all want to know what the name Israel means? Because everybody's name means something, right? Right. Malak, what does your name mean? What does your name mean? What does your name mean? Okay.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
My name's Quick.
Okay, in the world when we had these names, Gregory, Tyrone, Richard, you know what I'm saying? None of those names had meaning, right or wrong? Did any of those names have meaning?
Some of them probably did. Like, they probably did in their culture. But, like, a lot of those names are based on Latin and German.
Okay.
So, a lot of times the names didn't translate over.
To us.
Right. Like, when my mother named me that name that I used to be when I was born, when I was named that name that I was given when I was born, I never knew what that name meant. I didn't know. I tried to look it up. It's an old English name, which I hate to say it. I ain't going to say it. But it's from England. So it's a white man's name. I don't go by that name anymore, except on my Social Security card. You understand? Okay. So our names have meaning. I'm gonna read to you where God told us the meaning of our name. Okay, the meaning of the name Israel. Right. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 32 and verse 28. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, right? For as a prince, thou hast power with God and with men. Meaning, Israel means the prince of the power, or the children of God. That's what the name means. You got that? That's Genesis 32 and 28. 32 and 28. That's where you'll find the prince, the meaning of the name, because when the Most High gave him the name, he told him what the name meant. Because all Israelite names mean something. You understand? So when you come into the school, right, they check out your character and the things, your strength, and then they name you accordingly. Because that's what God did with Israel. You understand? He saw Israel was diligent and hardworking and relentless. So he chose him. That's what it says right here. And he said, thy name shall be no more called Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince is the son of the king. That's who a prince is. So we're all princes and princesses, right? You understand? We're all the children of God. We're all the prince of the power. The word power, Alahayim in the Hebrew, means God. God, the word God means power. That's what the word means. So when he says here, Israel, for thou hast power with God, right? And with men. So you're the prince or the son of the power, the son of God. You understand? That's who you are. You're the prince of the power. That's what your name Israel literally means, right? The prince of the power. That's what it means. You all right? Okay, good. Okay? Okay, so now, quick. Who's the greatest people on earth?
Me.
Israel. Right? Yeah, everybody, I want everybody to raise your hand. You ever heard of Jesus Christ?
I did.
If you heard of Jesus Christ, raise your hand. Right? Everybody heard of Jesus Christ, right?
Right.
So Jesus Christ is one of us. He's our brother, right?
Right.
He's our brother.
Right.
And he's our king. He's our king.
Yeah.
You understand? Who's the king? The king is the boss, right? Right. So Jesus Christ is our king. He's our king.
Yeah, and the boss.
Yeah. That's it. And so his name, that's right. His name in Hebrew is Yahushua, right?
Right.
Everybody say Yahushua. Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Say Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Okay, that's good. That's excellent. That's his name in Hebrew. Okay, y'all, so we done reached. Do your thing. No problem, but when you got to do your thing, you got to go. That's it. You understand? So with that, because we was only supposed to go to 7. So we're gonna close the class down. Once again, I'm very grateful for everybody that came out. Let me see, we don't have any more questions in the chat. Yeah. Sister Sapaya says about colorism. She says that Mariah Carey, who is an Israelite, but she's very light-skinned, she's an Israelite. And Bob Marley, who has color, but he's an Edomite because his father is an Edomite. Louis Farrakhan, his father's an Edomite, so he's an Edomite. He is not an Israelite. Yeah, me too, kind of. I was kind of a little surprised, but I knew it for a long time, but it didn't register with me. You know, because I had read his book and I had seen a picture of his father many, many years ago. But it wasn't important. But That's a good example. Throughout sis, that's an excellent example because Mariah Carey, well, she kind of looks like a white woman. But when you see her sisters, they all look black. So she's the white sheep of the family, so to speak. But she's a sister. She's an Israelite. And Bob Marley is not. You know, Bob Marley is not an Israelite. Bob Marley is a Edomite. Sorry. This cat called this dude, it was funny, and then I'm going to let y'all go. This is the last thing I'm going to say. He called Captain Zariak's show, and he said to Captain Zariak, you know, my father's black and my grandfather's black, but my grandfather's father's an Irishman. And so Captain Zariak, so he asked Captain Zariak, he said, well, am I an Israelite? And Captain Zariak said, well, I'm sorry, bro. I got to tell you the truth. He's not. Because his father was an Israelite because his father wasn't an Israelite. And his father was an Irishman. So his grandfather was the seed of his great-grandfather, who's the seed of his father's the seed of his grandfather, and he's the seed of his father. He was not, and he was very disappointed, but sorry, he's not an Israelite. That's it. You understand? Sure.
So let's say there's an adopted child, and he was raised with Judah,
But you're not sure of his ancestry.
but he's not sure of his ancestry. But since baby, he's been raised with Judah.
So all I can say to that is this, that the Spirit bears witness that we're the children of the Most High God. So it has to register in your spirit. Like that, I've seen that question brought up before, and I'm trying to remember the answer. I'll get it for you, but if there's no way of knowing, right? Like this person doesn't have any, history or any lineage that could be traced.
You know, he was told like, oh well, your parents are African American, so all of a sudden now you think, well, I'm African because they said I'm African American.
Well,
But they don't. If the child doesn't know, but it's only
right. So only thing that we would, I remember this one guy called in and he was a little skeptical about his ancestry, and he was told, yo, come to class. The Spirit is going to show us who you are. You understand? Because part of being priests and prophets of the Lord, particularly those brothers that's been in the school longer, they can discern spirits. So your spirit is going to show whether you're an Israelite or not. Because if you like, let's say you're African, right, and you come in here and we start talking bad about Africans. Every time somebody that's kind of, I might think he's African, and he come in this class, I'm going to start talking about Africans real bad. And his spirit is going to bear witness whether he's one of us or one of them. Because you can't be both. Because scientifically, it's been proven that your ethnicity is based on your father. That's scientific fact. That's not something that we made up, because whatever God says is the truth. According to the house of your fathers, that's it. And that's held up into what they call science today. All right, y'all. Yeah, I thank y'all for coming. I hope y'all continue to come, right? And I hope all of you out there in watching online, if you have an opportunity to bring your children, or if you have any ideas or anything that you might want to contribute, understand, we for the time we can still do this class moving forward. Okay, so we appreciate all the participation. We appreciate the comments, the information, all of that makes the class what it is. And we have an important job to do for these young people. You understand? We have a very important job because America in this society, in this kingdom society, is not going to do it. They're not going to instill self-esteem and self-love in our children. They're not. And it's not their damn responsibility to do so. It's our responsibility. It's not their responsibility for them to teach our children to love our people first. It's not their responsibility. It's our responsibility. You understand? And that's what we do here in the ISUPK. Because in here, you know, I can speak for myself, and I really can speak for all the brothers and sisters in the ISUPK that's really in the truth. We don't love no other people, no other nation. If you're not black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, so-called, according to the house of your father, then I ain't got no love for you at all. I don't give a damn about it. And that's just, it's like that, and that's the way it is. And with that, we say shalom. You understand? And class dismissed. We love our, we've been deprived of the love. You still on? Oh, let me kill it. Sorry, y'all. We've been deprived of the proper love of ourselves. You understand?